everyone. My name's Ariel DeGree, but it's pronounced differently. It actually stands for Ariel. It means Lioness of Judah, or Lioness of God. It's Hebrew. And DeGree is actually French in origin. So I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and now I'm studying for my master's in oceanography at the University of New Hampshire. And this figure basically is showing the net primary productivity of carbon in the world's oceans, and it's a satellite-derived image. You guys probably have all seen this, but the basic gist is that, let me see if this mouse will help me show some high productive regions. The equatorial region, the Pacific, and also in the Atlantic. And then also there's upwelling zones on the coast. Oh, I guess my arrow isn't working that well. But those are the major zones of upwelling of nutrients in cold water. So that's why we're observing this higher production of carbon. And the key thing to point out in this picture is that productivity is actually a rate of change. So you get at the net primary production by actually measuring the gross photosynthesis minus the respiration, and you get the rate by just dividing that by a year. Bear with me as I learn how to use a Mac. So my background, my pride and joy, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I went there in the fall of 2006, and I graduated with my Bachelor's of Science in Biology in 2010. And now I'm still very active in the Boston Carolina Alumni Club, and that's a really tight-knit group up in Boston, Massachusetts. We just celebrated a huge victory a few nights ago, and then we also lost last night. But in the end, we always prevail, so we're waiting for March Madness. And here are two pictures of like the happiest moments while I was at Chapel Hill. The first one's graduation. It's kind of blurry, but you can kind of see, that's the graduating class. And that's in Keenan Stadium, which holds about 60, somewhere around there, so 60,000. And the figure on the right is actually showing Danny Green dunking over a Duke player, and that's spelled D-O-O-K, not D. So I'll get into some more about what my research interests are. Basically, I'm a bio-optical and satellite oceanographer. I'll explain bio-optics and remote sensing to you guys in a bit. Bio-optics is basically the study of the travel of light through the water, and how that interacts with particles, so how they scatter and absorb light. And that has implication on phytoplankton, which is a group that I would be studying because I'm interested in the biology aspects. And there's also a remote sensing part of my study, and that's basically using satellite-derived data of the concentration of chlorophyll A. That's a pigment that's found in all plants. And I use that for giving a proxy of the phytoplankton biomass. So, and then that correlates to the first figure that I showed about the net primary productivity in the world's oceans. And the larger scale implications of all of that is we're basically trying to look for a global carbon budget, trying to quantify that in the ocean, because carbon dioxide actually is about 50% in the ocean. It's drawn down the ocean, and climate change kind of dictates to that, because we don't know exactly how much of that is going to still be able to flux into the ocean from the atmosphere. So some of the research I'm doing right now is based in the Great Bay Estuary of New Hampshire, and the first figure is actually showing Coastal Marine Labs in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So it's right on the coast, and there's a flow-through system of water, and inside of the lab, I actually have a tank, and it has this instrumentation in the middle. It's called AC9, It measures absorption and attenuation of light at 9 wavelengths. So the two tubes, the one on the left is Laneman's fingers showing the A tube. So it's measuring the absorption of light. And the one on the right is a C tube, and that's measuring the attenuation. So this is all spectral dependent. Everything varies by wavelength, and we account for that in our data. And then on the right is a picture of AC-9 being deployed. I think I was actually on this cruise in Chesapeake Bay, off the coast of Maryland, and that was some instrumentation that we used. And it's pretty expensive. It's about $30,000. So that's the huge problem in oceanography. It's considered more of a luxury instead of, oh man, I went over. No, my short-term and long-term goals. I'm going to graduate in May 2012 with my master's degree in oceanography. Eventually, I want to begin a career in the federal government. I actually just changed my mind a couple of months, or actually a month ago. I want to do my PhD. Sorry. I want to do my PhD. And then, finally, I want to become a senior executive level scientist in the federal government. Okay.